I was on Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan is a mixed bag. They've been inviting me for a while. I finally said, yeah, I come. All right. It was actually a good time. I am me no matter where I go. So Trump announced that Benjamin Netanyahu had agreed to his plan to end Israel's war. And you know my feelings about this whole thing. So the press conference was discussed. The White House released Trump's 20-point plan, and the question was posed to me on the program. Well, how do you feel about this particular plan and Netanyahu's ability to execute? Here's my answer. In all due respect, first of all, I would be hesitant to say what Benjamin Netanyahu has said or has not said in reference to owning the United States of America, since none of us have heard those conversations directly, and we can't be with him 24 hours. Number two, the dynamic that exists with Netanyahu is this: he doesn't have trust equity. And this is when trust equity matters. If you have broken your word prior, or at least the other side of this has had contention with your word being valuable, whatever word you put on the table this time will have the same level of respect that you showed your word the first time. So now you have a principle that looks decent on paper, but the other side of that principle, Hamas, they haven't even seen it, according to the last report. So this is good on paper, good on promise, probably okay on principle, but once again, you don't have the credibility to land it. Yeah, and then Allen jumped in, doing what he's paid to do, trying to defend something that cannot be defended. And then I had to clap back. But as part of that agreement, U.S. President Donald Trump has said, Sir Tony Blair, the former UK Prime Minister, wants to join the international body overseeing Gaza under an American plan to end the war. So Tony became the first named member of a new, quote, board of peace chaired by Donald Trump to be tasked with temporarily supervising Gaza's governance. If Hamas accepts the plan, quote, leaders from other countries on the board will be named later, Trump said. So Morgan asked me about my opinions of Blair. Here it is.
Many people pointing out, and I was editor of a Daily Mirror newspaper in England that vehemently opposed the war in Iraq, for example. So I would be one of these people who think it's a little incongruous for somebody who bombed the hell out of Iraq to suddenly be the peace broker running Gaza. But is there method to that madness, do you think?
What's unfortunate, great question. What's unfortunate is that the current leadership of America and allied countries is so much in the toilet that they have to look at a previous leader for consideration. And that previous leader has to have the gravitas as a former head of state in order to be considered. There's another consideration to have nonprofit organizations be in charge of this. Some of those nonprofits are inside of the United States of America, which creates another irony in the leadership dynamic for how the execution may happen. But what you're seeing is a result of completely corrupt, failed, and adverse leadership not being trusted. And this is why recommendations like Tony Blair even exist. Yeah, Tony damn Blair, out of everyone. Good to see he's still kicking. Okay, so we talked about Comey as well. Comey being indicted, obviously, under this administration. Seems quite political, obviously, but hell, the Department of Justice has never really been corrupt-free. Here's my answer about Comey. You only have a certain amount of energy every day. I don't care who you are. And if your job is to solve problems for the everyday person in a nation, you don't have enough energy, enough mental power, enough political power to do that when you are set on revenge of folk that have talked bad about you, or individuals that may have actually done something that was substantive that hurt you. And here's where we are, the pendulum swinging back and forth. So one administration, okay, I can grant you the Justice Department has not been corrupt-free since day one. But black folks said that in the 60s. And if we would have taken a different look at the Justice Department then, instead of saying, well, the Justice Department is good under one president and bad under the other. Hell, there's been corrupt factors with the Justice Department since we've been talking about it. So where do we actually solve the issue? Well, the issue isn't related to administration. It goes deeper than that. It's cultural. And if they're able to have a point of reference to target you, but you happen to be black or brown, they have another point of reference to target somebody close to you, and they happen to not be black or brown. Now they have a reference to target the other person close to them who may be in a socioeconomic status that would seemingly not be prosecuted for something so small. It continues to go. And that's the real issue that we have to discuss.
Yeah, no, I agree.
At some point. So it is ironic, isn't it, that it takes the prosecution of a politically connected, well-established figure like a Comey for us to talk about the inadequacies and the potential corruption and cultural dynamics of the Department of Justice. But as I said then, and I say now, and I've said here prior, that the Department of Justice has never been corrupt-free in any context. And you can go from the original formation of the Justice Department as to why it was formed, to the actual on-record variables that we have to discuss today. Okay, dear brother, thoughts on any of that? It was a 30-minute program, so we talked about a lot.
No, it was a delicious buffet. I can choose whatever I want. I mean, I will say that the board of peace kind of cracks me up, especially given who's on it, but also in light of the fact that we now have a Department of War. Personally, I think it should be the other way around. Maybe there's a board of war and a Department of peace. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. But I agree. I mean, with everything you said, I think you did a great job. I'm very curious to just what your experience was on it, because you see these clips pop up and they can get really contentious, but it seemed like you held your ground and had said everything you needed to say. But I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, no, I had a fine time. I mean, other than Alan getting a little bit of protection from Piers Morgan, in my opinion. It was a fine opportunity, but it was 5 people on the panel. So it was a great mixture of diverse ideas. And at least Morgan had me and one other person who sounded like they had sense. I don't know about everybody else on the panel.
Some knowledge of history, which I think comes in handy too.
There you go.